Monday marks 50 years since the Kent State shootings. Because of the current state of the world, that day is being commemorated differently this year. Andrew Horansky takes a look.
On this day 50 years ago, protests were breaking out across the country over the U.S. invasion of Cambodia, and Kent State quickly became a hotspot when the National Guard was called to control crowds.
And when you pit Americans against one another, that is just a recipe for tragedy.
Activist Chick Kanfora was there when the Guard opened fire on Monday, May 4th, killing 4 students and injuring 9 others, some simply passing by.
I don't think any of us ever forget the sights and the sounds of gunfire.
A moment the rest of us can now process in augmented reality. So it looks like right now we are about here.
You're essentially traveling back 50 years and living the history that happened in May 4, 1970.
Professor Rick Ferdig developed an app for phone and web that resembles Pokemon Go. Simply visit one of Kent's 7 hotspots, hold up your phone.
You can actually see a digital overlay on top of your real-world experience.
Comparing now to then, an audio tour enhancing the experience.
On May 4th, 1970, 28 guardsmen turned directly in front of the pagoda and fired 67 shots into the Prentice Hall parking lot, killing 4 students and injuring 9 others.
All of it leading up to the 50-year milestone happening on Monday. Now, the campus has been closed for several weeks, and visitors are still discouraged from coming here. In fact, roads will be closed in the coming days. Everything you saw on our phone, you can see on your computer, 360-degree windows, audio too. We have a link at WKYC.com. Reporting in Kent tonight, I'm Andrew Horansky, 3 News.
And over the next few days, Andrew will have more on Kent State 50 years later. Tomorrow night, a first-hand account from those who were there.
Welcome back. Monday, May 4th, 2020 will mark 50 years since one of the most painful and shocking moments in U.S. history. The day that National Guardsmen gunned down unarmed activists on the campus of Kent State University, killing 4 people. Andrew Horansky spoke with those who were there that day and explains how this year the milestone will be different.
It was the day the country opened fire on itself, and it all went down in 13 seconds. On one side, more than 24 National Guardsmen with guns. On the other, unarmed activists angry at President Nixon over prolonging the Vietnam War.
Was it the hateful rhetoric of the time that made them truly see us as an enemy?
Chick Kanfora was pulled behind a car when bullets began to fly by a friend who saved her life. Her brother Alan, waving a black flag, was shot.
It was very unexpected, it was shocking, and it was just wrong.
A Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph captured the chaos that left 4 dead and 9 injured. So did a popular song, and on one anniversary, renowned journalist Bob Woodward.
It was a moment that shook the conscience of everyone.
Rocking the very foundation of law and order.
Those individual triggermen still had to make a personal, conscious choice to lift a military weapon, look through the scope of that rifle, begin shooting while 18 and 19-year-old college students dove for cover or flew to the ground, hoping not to be hit.
There were heroes that day, including geology professor Glenn Frank, who got on a bullhorn and pleaded with the crowd.
I don't care if you've never listened to anybody in your life, I need you to listen, begging you, please, you have to leave.
His daughter Linda sharing his legacy.
You know, the general told him after the shootings, in those moments, that if he didn't get those students to disperse, there was going to be a massacre.
While Professor Jerry Lewis still has questions.
Did the Guard fire on the basis of an order? That's a very important part of the debate. Were the slain students protesting at the time, at the moment of the shootings? Were the Guard poorly trained and led?
In a moment now coming full circle, May 4th falls on a Monday this year, as it did in 1970. Students are again out early. Activism is back. Kent State student Katie Payette has written about May 4th and hopes the parallels aren't lost.
If you don't learn from history, you're often you're going to repeat it. And I think, more than ever, we really need to pay attention to those lessons.
Even with this year's cancellations, Jane Fonda was supposed to be the featured speaker. Instead, she's been replaced by a virtual vigil and online reflections, maybe drawing even larger crowds who see Kent State not just as a place, but a time, still being understood. Today, the scene of the shooting is a National Historic Site. There's a May 4th Visitor Center with the theme of this year's commemoration focusing on unity and reconciliation, two ways of moving forward after half a century. Reporting in Kent, I'm Andrew Horansky, 3 News.
Thank you, Drew. And you can check out our interactive link to coverage of the May 4th remembrances at WKYC.com. We have links to the virtual vigil, a dramatic play featuring Tina Fey, and an app that allows you to experience history in augmented reality.
But the most important thing is that as the Kent State community, we pause and take time to remember somehow these students who lost their lives.
Tomorrow marks a major milestone at Kent State University. It's been 50 years since the Ohio National Guard opened fire on anti-war demonstrators, killing 4 students and injuring 9 others. It was supposed to be a big day on campus tomorrow. Instead, Andrew Horansky explains how it's now going virtual.
On May 4th, 1970, Alan Canfora was waving a black flag, standing among unarmed activists. Across from them, more than 24 Ohio National Guardsmen with guns.
To me, it seems like yesterday, sort of, but on the other hand, it's been a long fight for truth and for justice, and we have fought trying to get truth and justice so that we could say these 4 students did not die in vain.
Allison Krause, Jeffrey Miller, Sandra Scheuer, and William Schroeder all lost their lives. 9 others were injured in what began as an effort to protest the Vietnam War.
And it's a little personal for me because my sister was on the other side of the building 50 years ago.
Joe Gunderman has been part of the team planning for this year's May 4 commemoration at Kent State, an event that was supposed to bring 20,000 people to campus. Instead, due to COVID-19, asking them to go online.
At Kent State University, there was tragedy on Monday, May 4th.
Gunderman's contribution is a newly released May 4th Voices audio play by David Hassler, which includes the voice of Tina Fey.
And I'm not sure, to my satisfaction, that the truth has been told accurately at Kent. There were lots of truths, but something happened here that should not have happened.
The fact that this comes from all perspectives was highly, critically important.
Rod Flahhaus has been working on the virtual commemoration that begins Monday at noon and includes personal reflections, even new video.
We have some very seldom seen color footage from that day, color film footage that a student took.
And new music never heard.
With, I'll just say, an iconic musical performance by David Crosby, and I'll leave it at that.
In years past, there would have been a candlelight vigil. Now there's a virtual one with people encouraged to post pictures on social media showing candles with the hashtag Kent State May 4, a way they may honor a place and a time that has changed so much. And we have links to all of this, of course, at WKYC.com, including one additional tool that's really cool. They've created an augmented reality tool that allows people to look at superimposed pictures from 50 years ago, Lena, on top of pictures that we would see of Kent State University today. Really educational, a really cool way to kind of compare what has been and what you would see there now.
Yeah, educational and fascinating as well. 50 years, and yet it's still such a controversial time for so many people. But, now that we have history to look back on, there really is no doubt the impact the tragedy had.
That is absolutely true, Lena. It really showed the impact of young people as they had their voices heard. It's credited with shifting public opinion on the Vietnam War, changing the voting age from 21 to 18. And there still is a great deal of controversy around this, particularly when it comes to the National Guard. Were they given an order to shoot? Who gave that order? Why did they follow those orders? A lot still being debated today and likely for many, many years to come.
Wow, so many unanswered questions. Thanks so much, Drew. Appreciate it.